Okay, another handheld game console. Um, we're we're going to be seeing a Game Boy Advance. Just give me a second here. I'll grab it. Game Boy Advance. I currently have Pokemon Emerald loaded in the Game Boy. Probably one of my favorite games. I actually got it pretty recently. I had an old Pokemon game like a while ago, before, but I think I had Pokemon, was it Leaf Green or was it Sapphire? I don't know. However, I think I lost it, or the cartridge got messed up or something. I don't know what happened to it. So you got the Game Boy Advance here, and basically it's pretty much the same buttons here as the Game Boy Color. You have start and select, D-pad, blah 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 blah. Only difference is that you now have shoulder buttons, or L and R buttons. This was the first Game Boy to have these. And you see this? Well, this is my shark light, because the screen on this isn't backlit. It has a little switch up here to turn the light on and off. This is power on or whatever. Also, it has a pass-through to put, if you want to link with someone and you have the light on, you can still link. Also, you know what? I think the Lynx game had something like that. It was called Tom Lynx or something. Yeah. The only thing is that every player who has a game needs to have a copy of the game. Although that was the same with the Game Boy Color and the Game Boy Advance, and also a majority of PSP and DS games, like the Game Boy DS, has wireless capabilities. However, majority of the games still require both players to have the same copy of the same game. And the same is also true with the Atari Lynx game. All the players who were linked up needed to have a copy of the game. But getting off of that, also, you see in the back here, pretty boring back there. The only thing that's really of any purpose back here besides the cartridge slot is the battery cover. You see my my rechargeable batteries are in there. And this is where the game goes in. It uses cartridges that are like this big. And when this came out, I'm like, yeah. So I'll compare it to a Game Boy Color cartridge. Let's see. Grab one here. It's about half the size, give or take. See that? It's half the size of a Game Boy Color cartridge. And also, yeah, you see some of the Game Boy Color games when they first came out, like they used to go all the way up to here. The circuit board used to go all the way up to here, like as you see here. But then as the Game Boy Color got older, you started to see it come down to here. And you get this empty space up here. And then the Game Boy Advance cartridge came out. They were, of course, half the size. Oh, okay, one more thing. I never understood what this is. It looks like a battery or something. But, now, Pokemon Emerald also has a battery. Like, if you could see it right there. I don't think you can see that, but there's a little watch battery in there. This has a real-time clock, so I can understand why this would have a battery in it, because the clock runs even when the game isn't running. But this has no clock, so why in the heck would it have a battery? Yeah. And speaking of Game Boy Color games, one of the major selling points of the Game Boy Advance was the fact that it could actually still play your Game Boy Color games, your old Game Boy Color games. So you can put it in here. Now, while it can play them, it doesn't go all the way down into the Game Boy due to the fact that the Game Boy Advance cartridges are half the size, which kind of makes your Game Boy look sort of retarded. But so anyway, yeah. And then you can, this is Super Mario Brothers, as you can see. Yeah, so I'm gonna get out of that. Yeah, so this I think was basically just a Super Nintendo made portable. Because like some of the games that were on this were actually originally on the Super Nintendo. Like Super Mario World, for example. I used to have that game, but it got stolen or something. Oh, one more thing that this Game Boy had that the older ones didn't. That the older ones just had a light that was always like red, but the Game Boy Advance had a light, it would be green, but then when the batteries were running low, it would turn red. Alright, so also the next Game Boy Advance was a this was the original Game Boy Advance, in case you've been living under a rock, no offense. But then they came out with one that like, okay, it basically was a Game Boy Advance, but it was a bit smaller. Like it wasn't landscape like this anymore. It wasn't like sideways. Instead, it was like vertical. The screen was on top, but it folded closed, and it also had a backlit screen. But I had already had this when the SP came out, so I didn't see the point in getting it. And then they came out, of course, like also the SP unfortunately did not have a headphone jack, which I don't know, kind of sucked, but they had adapters for it, but still, no headphone jack. Where the Game Boy Advance did have a headphone jack. But then they came out with the Game Boy Micro, the Game Boy Micro. It was like, I don't know, I think it's the size of an iPod mini, I think, kind of in that neighborhood, and, the screen was smaller, but it was also brighter than, Game Boy SP as well, yeah, but that was released with very little fanfare, and it also, I really honestly didn't think it was a very good console to buy, because I certainly wouldn't have bought it, because it's just like the thought of playing games on something that small. I mean, and also like I'd basically be holding a thing like right in front of my face to even be able to see the thing. So yeah, I mean, the screen was good from what I've read, but still, I'd rather just play games on a bigger handheld. I mean, sometimes, I mean, unless it's the size of a Lynx game or something, the bigger the better, but even that, like, it felt less like I was playing a handheld game console, and more like I was actually holding a real controller for like a home game console, a TV console, or whatever you want to call it. And there you have it. Game Boy Advance was a good portable game console. And it also, one more thing, was also home to several Pokemon games, like most of the Game Boys, or all of them have been actually.